was like, screw that, I'm not gonna go anywhere else today, and I'm dead tired, and it was late, so I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna stay home and eat my food and go to bed, which is exactly what I did. And then I slept for like ever. But so yesterday was Saturday, and it was the day that I had my work interview or pre-trial run, which was just pretty much me working with one of the two owners of the carpentry business, and putting in cabinets with him and doing some other small little carpentry stuff, and then cleaning up the place. And he left early, so he left at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I stayed till 4. But he when he went to go leave, he was saying, he was like, he's like, so here's the thing, man, I think you're an awesome guy, you're trustworthy, you're a good worker, or you're a hard worker, you're a good listener, you ask questions, you're not afraid to ask questions, and he's like, and you're exactly the type of person we're looking for. He's like, it's hard. He's like, you showed up exactly on time, like, early, like 5-10 minutes early, because that's what you're supposed to do for a job. And he was just saying, like, it's pretty much buttering me up, and told me that, I was exactly what they needed. And so he's like, if you're fine, or if you're down for it, man, I'm definitely down to employ you and have you work for us, because you're exactly who we're looking for and exactly what we need. So that felt awesome, obviously. So obviously I accepted it. I wanted the job. It wasn't like I was like, nah, I'm good, thanks though. But yeah, so he said, but I gotta go. He's like, I'd like you to stay and finish your full day if that's okay with you, which was fine with me. And he was like, I'll pay you $100, because $12 an hour for the amount of time that I would have gotten would have been $96 anyways. So he just gave me $4 extra, because obviously I was being paid under the table for yesterday, whereas Monday I'll be starting as like actual payroll paid employee. But so pretty much when he left, then I just cleaned up the place. I took a lot of shit out to the dumpster. I cleaned up the plaster that was stuck to the floor from when the guys went in with the putty for the drywall and all that stuff, and busted that loose, and swept up the floors, and then used a vacuum to suck up all the dust, and you just did the typical cleaning of the area. And after I cleaned everything, then obviously it was time to go at that point. I mean, I will fully admit that I got to pretty much every room besides one, and that's mainly just because the painter was painting around there, and I wasn't trying to create a whole bunch of dust and have all that dust be kicked up right into all that fresh paint that was being put down. But for the other part, I did clean the majority of everything else and did everything I was supposed to, so I'm not worried about anything. Plus, I'm not going to be back there anytime soon. But so then tomorrow, being Monday, because today's Sunday, we drive to our own work sites in our own personal vehicles. They do that so that way they make the carpenters drive separately in their own personal vehicles, so that way like they don't have to stay, like kind of thing, like he did, like where he left at 1 but was like, you know, I'm gonna trust you to stay here, clean this place up and all that other stuff. So pretty much that's just what they like to do. They just like it to be able to have it, so if they need to leave to go do a quote or maybe go start another job somewhere else, they can leave the carpenters there to do the work and finish up what needs to be done while they're off doing whatever they have to do. So obviously the Dirge is getting a whole lot of miles on her that wasn't normally being put on, because, you know, normally it'd be like I drive to work and that was it. Now, the only other job that ever put any form of miles onto this truck was when I drove to the farm, because I had to drive through the farm fields to get to wherever I was going to actually be picking and stuff like that. But I mean, like, that was rolling at like 5 miles per hour, and fucking I drove for like what was like 3 minutes or 4 minutes, but realistically, distance wise, it would have been maybe like a quarter of a mile, if that. So I mean, I really wasn't putting like a ton of miles on the truck doing that, but now I am. I drive to Medina, which is where I tried to record from, but then my phone filled up with memory, and I do have one video that I posted that I tried to upload before I left today, but for some reason it like did the whole thing, the whole process. It uploaded it, then it switched back to preparing, which it doesn't do that only but in the beginning when you initially go to upload the video, it prepares the video and then it uploads. Well, this time it prepared, it uploaded the entire video, then it went back to preparing, and now for whatever reason, I'm hoping that it worked and it was just being fluky, but for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what device I get onto to try to check if it's there, it's not uploaded to YouTube. So it's like, did it just decide not to upload after it already uploaded, or what? Like, so I couldn't delete the video off the phone because there's, I guess, that small possible chance that for some reason it never actually uploaded, and I don't want to delete it and then be like, oh shit, I just deleted a video that never made it up. So I'm hoping that, like I said, it was just a fluke, and that, you know, once I re-upload, or once I get to where I'm going now, that I'll be able to check on my phone and see that it uploaded and that it was just being stupid, but I don't really know for sure, so I'm not sure exactly how long this video will be able to record for. I should have enough that I could probably easily record like 20 minutes and be fine, but like I said, I can't guarantee that because I don't really know for sure, so I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I got the job. Then tomorrow on Monday, I fortunately have literally like a 2-minute drive to get to the job site, because they're based out of Wadsworth, my town, and the job that we're doing is actually at the intermediate school. So it's like the way that Wadsworth splits their the school systems up is, I mean, this might be for everybody, but I don't know, because I do know there are some people that go to junior high and it's different than what ours is. But you go through elementary school, you go through pre-K to 4th grade, and when you go into 5th grade, you go to the intermediate school. That's Central Intermediate School, CIS. That's where I'm going to go do work tomorrow. But CIS is for only 5th and 6th grade. Then you go to the middle school, which would be like junior high to most people, which that's 7th and 8th grade. And then you go to the high school, which is 9th through 12th. And the only reason I know that sometimes it's different for other people is just simply because of the fact that I know that sometimes, especially our Wadsworth used to be like this until they moved everybody into CIS, but it used to be you went to elementary school, and then junior high school was 5th through 8th. Like the high school had 4 years. The junior high school had 4 years too. You would have started in 5th grade, you would have ended in 8th grade, and then you went to the high school, which was 9th through 12. But they decided to split it up because my town's growing so fucking big through the many, many, many years now that trying to fit 4 grades of kids 6th through or 5th through 8th inside of one school doesn't work anymore because we got so many kids. Now our high school recently was torn down and rebuilt. It's been a few years now, but you know, obviously it was like 2 or 3 years after I graduated from the old high school that was tiny as fuck, and we still somehow managed to fit a whole bunch of people into. They decided to rebuild the high school, and they could fit like, I don't even know, they got like 3,000 to 5,000 kids in this school. It's ridiculous. My graduating class was the largest class of its time. When I graduated, we had 423 students, I think, and that's even including the dropouts and the kids who didn't graduate, and you know, kids that dropped out of school and stuff like that. That's like, obviously that number was already taken out, but 423 students actually graduated from Wadsworth in my class. So a lot of kids, and I'm pretty sure that that's not even the record anymore, because I think that there are classes that have graduated already recently, or like after my class, that have surpassed that number. So the school's fucking huge, but the intermediate school that I'm gonna work at tomorrow is really, really old, and because it's really old, everything on it, it's got like original mason work and all this other stuff, and the building has gotten a lot of water damage over the years because like the gutters or rain system isn't putting the water in the specific spots they were designed to, so it's just running off the front of the school, and so it completely destroyed the whole front entrance, and a bunch of big rocks and chunks of concrete were falling off and shit. So they obviously decided that it was probably smarter to replace it and fix that shit than have little kids going in there and possibly getting fucked up by falling concrete. So that's what I'm going to go help with tomorrow. If we finish tomorrow, if not, then I'll have to go back Tuesday, probably for like half a day or so. But if we do finish tomorrow, what we got to do, then we have a house to go do work in Portage Lakes, which is 20 to 30 minutes east of me. So like the truck's really going to start getting a lot of extra mileage put on her, which I'm not really worried about. Like I've always said, the truck is a good running truck. I mean, this engine runs perfectly good. It's got the check engine light that comes on, and then I mean that is on, and you know, and hasn't gone away. But whenever you scan it, the codes that come up usually are just some stupid sensor that really doesn't have any effect on the truck's actual ability to be able to like drive, you know, like it doesn't actually fuck the running of the engine. It's just like some temperature gauge that's wrong, and it's not even like the temperature gauge that tells you the temperature of the truck. It's just like a gauge that I literally don't know. I don't know much about vehicles, so I don't really know exactly what it is, but it's something stupid, something small and stupid, that it's enough to keep my fucking check engine light on, but not enough to like make the truck actually run like shit. The transmission was rebuilt like 3,000 miles ago before I bought the truck, but unfortunately they got rebuilt by a shop in my town that's very notoriously known for transmissions that are like good for working for like short amount of time, and then they give up on people. So it's one of those things where it's like I don't really know how long truly this transmission's really going to live for. It already acts funny, the transmission does. It, like, you'll be driving in gear, and we're about to be driving past a apostolic church that's fucking massive. Like, it's got like probably 200 or 300 people that go to this fucking church. You see all the cars in the parking lot. We haven't even passed the big parking lot, which is right here. But yeah, so like the mechanical parts of the truck seem to be pretty alright, but it's simply the fact that my shock absorbers are what's broken. Like, my suspension's still there, so I still have leaf springs, and I still have coil springs in the front tires, but like the shock absorbers, which is supposed to be the part that when you hit a bump it absorbs the springiness, so that way the truck doesn't keep bouncing, they're completely broken. So like, you've probably even been able to tell what by watching the video, but this road kind of shows from time to time, like there, I hit a bump, and then even if I'm on a flat part, you know, the truck's still doing this for like 4 or 5 up and downs afterwards. It's like I've said many times before, it's like being on a boat. And that's because shock absorbers aren't there. They're broken, completely broken on the front and back, so it doesn't absorb the shock anymore, so it just fucking bounces. And when you get to the point where you're driving down the highway doing 70 miles per hour and you hit a bump, it's violent, and it almost makes you want to drive off the fucking road, because the whole truck's going and it's really dangerous. So that's the only part where like I really try to hopefully not drive it too far, too much, is because of the fact of naturally I know that there's stuff that's wrong with this truck. Plus, because the shock absorbers aren't there, it's putting all of that extra bounce and saggy waviness all on the springs, and so because of that, you know, naturally the springs themselves and the shocks and everything are getting a little bit more abused than they normally would have, because they would normally be absorbed a little bit, and now they're not. So, you know, it's like I'm because things are broken, it's putting more wear and tear onto stuff that shouldn't be getting more wear and tear on it. And the parts are relatively cheap, so I'm not really too worried about that. It's just more the fact that I need to wait until I at least get this first paycheck, so that I know, like, I got the money that I need for my bills and stuff that still are going to be coming out. And then still also, you know, then I'll have some money that I will be able to drop, you know, say $100, and put the parts into this guy that I needed to, and then I will be able to trust it more. But even on top of that, then I need to start saving up my money even more, because as much as I love this truck, it's got high mileage on it and still runs good and all that other stuff, I really don't want to drive this truck in the winter, because the truck itself is only rear-wheel drive, which, I mean, yeah, sure, it's going to be a drifting machine, but I've never driven a rear-wheel drive vehicle in the snow before, and because I've always had a front-wheel drive car, and the tires are completely bald on this guy. I mean, like, they got some tread, but I mean, they're bald to the point where they aren't going to be any actual help when it comes to trying to drive on snow or anything. So, like, it's literally to the point where it's like I need something better. I need better tires. I need there's a bug on the inside of my sunglasses. Just showed up out of nowhere. But I need something better for the winter, whether I upgrade this guy so it's better for the winter, or, you know, and then I just trust having two-wheel drive, or I go out and actually get a different vehicle, which is what I want to try to do, because Whereas this guy does have high mileage, and it is an older truck. It is going to sooner or later start having a much more problems with all the rust that's on it. Things are going to start to break. I'd like to go out and find something that's cheap, but like maybe like $1,000, $1,500 cheap, so that way I can actually trust it more and you know, not worry too much about if I have to drive any long distances with it. But all right, guys, I'm already out of my grandparents', well, my uncle's house and my grandparents' house to help my parents with some stuff. So I gotta go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, you should subscribe to keep up cool content like this. And if you're a part of the video, you can share the video, show other people how exciting this trip and this conversation was as I back myself up into this driveway. I am like a backup master. Okay, well, I say that and then I went off the driveway a little bit, but I love backing up in vehicles. For some reason, I'm like really good at it, and I really enjoy doing it, even though it's not like the craziest thing in the world to do. But like I said, I'm just really good at it, so it's like, why not do it? And that house next door there, a sheriff lives there. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when he shoots you? Bye.